Olá, tudo bem? Meu nome é Wesley Matos e eu estou aqui para conversar um pouquinho sobre a nossa história, sobre como Deus está falando aos nossos corações e aquilo que tem acontecido nos dias de hoje, naquilo que nós estamos envolvidos e participando. Eu sou hoje um dos diretores da Unicesumar, uma das maiores universidades do Brasil, com mais de 250 mil alunos e em mais de 750 cidades do nosso país, com polos e 5 campos presenciais espalhados no estado do Paraná e também no Mato Grosso do Sul. Nós temos essa história e nós queremos trazer para você um pouco desse assunto sobre missão e profissão, principalmente porque por um tempo eu fui viver num navio missionário, fiquei 2 anos junto com a minha esposa, passei por mais de 35 países e conheci vários lugares e vários ambientes, países de diferentes formas, e vendo toda essa necessidade, muitas vezes fui indagado de como a gente poderia enviar pessoas e de como poderíamos influenciar as nações e o mundo através da educação e do trabalho. E durante esse processo, durante esse tempo, nós podemos e vimos muitas necessidades e muitas formas de como isso pode ser feito. E hoje em dia temos discutido muito sobre isso e temos o privilégio de estar recebendo a gente aqui em Maringá para participar, para conversar, para discutir, uma equipe muito especial dos Estados Unidos que faz parte dessa organização que eu também fiz parte dos navios, que é a Operação Mobilização. Tem um ministério muito interessante que tem desenvolvido esse trabalho que chama Scatter Global, e também traduzido em português o livro que acabou de ser lançado, o Espalhe. E nós vamos conversar um pouquinho com você e discutir um pouco sobre essa história e até onde nós temos chegado na discussão sobre a importância do trabalho, da missão, da profissão, da vocação e de como nós, especialmente brasileiros, podemos servir e trabalhar nas nações através disso que tem acontecido. E para a gente continuar essa conversa, nós estamos aqui hoje com o Andrew Scott e o Jonathan, que são líderes e participantes aí desse ministério no mundo, especialmente a partir dos Estados Unidos. First of all, thank you very much for coming, for being here in Brazil, and it's a privilege for us to receive you at Unicesumar, Missional, and in Brazil. To share about your book, to share more about Scatter Global and what you are doing. So thank you very much. So first I would like to ask you to talk about yourselves and introduce a little bit about what you are doing, about your work, about your family, and share to us a little bit about that, please.
Well, thank you, Wesley. It's wonderful to be at Unicesumar and Missional. It's just been a wonderful experience to come on campus and to see what God is doing here. It has blown me away, quite honestly. And so thank you for your invitation. Thank you for this time. I'm Andrew Scott. I originally come from Northern Ireland and have moved and lived in the US for about 18 years. Where my family live. I have a wife who's also from Northern Ireland. She's got red hair and green eyes, which is a stereotypical Irish lady, although there's not too many of them. She's special. And I have 2 children, a 24-year-old daughter, Anna, and a 21-year-old son, Daniel. My daughter's married and she works in a marketing company, and my son is in university studying business. And I often also like to talk that I have 5 dogs, and that's one of my hobbies, that I enjoy working with my dogs and having fun with them. We currently live in Atlanta, Georgia.
Good. Well, it's a real honor for us to be here. Thank you for the kind invitation and the hospitality of your university. The last couple of days has been just really enjoyable. My name is Jonathan Thiessen. I'm originally from Canada. Grew up in a small farming community. I joined OM when I was 19 and spent almost 10 years in Russia and the former Soviet Union. I met my wife in the UK. She's also a redhead with green eyes, so somehow that was a similarity. We have 3 kids, an 11-year-old girl, and then 9 and 6-year-old boys, and 1 dog, not 5, one so far. But we also live near Atlanta, and moved to the U.S. About 6 years ago from Russia, and I work together with Andrew. Yeah.
Good, great. Could you tell us a little bit more about your ministry, what you do there in America, and how this subject, this profession and mission is affecting the world today? Tell us a little bit about something about the book, maybe, and your experience about that, please.
So our overarching desire and vision is to see that everyone on the planet, everyone on earth, has an opportunity to see and hear the gospel of Jesus Christ. We believe that is done best when Jesus followers are living out all of their life for Jesus, wherever they are and doing whatever they do. And so if they're in the workplace, in the neighborhood, they're living out all of their life. And when others can see Jesus followers living together and living in community and living in the community as Jesus followers, it's a very powerful representation of the gospel. And so we would love to see that everywhere in the world. Part of the challenge, of course, is that that's not happening right now. That actually there's just a very, very small percentage of Jesus followers who are going to the parts of the world where Jesus is not known. And so that's one of the challenges that we're wrestling with, is how do we see many, many more Jesus followers going to parts of the world where Jesus is not known to live out their lives. Part of the challenge, Wesley, is that so many of the pathways that have been built over the last number of years within global missions are not necessarily the pathways that this generation want to go down. They're not necessarily the pathways that are getting people into countries and allowing them to go live in those countries. And they're not necessarily the pathways that are enabling people to live out their life in a way that people can see them following Jesus. And so that's part of what I talk about in my book. How do we see a generation awaken to an idea that they are on mission with God through their lives? And so that's part of what we talk about in the book.
I think it would be good for you to share the story that you sometimes tell us about how you came to write the book. What was the conversation you had?
Yeah,
Great idea. That's nice.
I was sitting in my office a little bit like this here, across from a leader of our work in the Muslim world. And I was just made the new leader of OM in the USA. And I thought I had a really good plan to send more people out, a few more people, right? And he said to me something that just completely wrecked my mind and my thinking. He said,
and he'd been a leader in the Muslim world for 30 years.
I mean, he was seen as the big leader, and all organizations looked to him as the big leader, right? So he wasn't just something like me. And he said, Andrew, there will be no traditional missionaries in the Muslim world within 10 years.
Wow.
And I said, help me understand that. And he said, well, the first thing is you're not going to get into the Muslim world as a missionary, right? You're not going to get a visa. And I thought, okay, I understand that. But he said something else that completely wrecked my thinking. He said, but also, if you go in there without any job, without any presence in a community that makes sense to the local people, then your presence is going to be questionable. Therefore, your message will be questionable as well. And I had never heard that before. And it started to cause me to think, if I didn't understand that, what else did I not understand about doing mission today? That the very ways we had gone into communities were not setting us up to share our message in an excellent way, in a credible way, in an authentic way. So it caused me to take a step back as a leader and say, okay, what else needs to change?
That's really powerful. That's a big challenge, isn't it? Bom, a gente falou um pouco aqui sobre o livro dele. Esse é o livro do Andrew Scott que ele lançou. Em português ele se chama Espalhe, Vá, portanto, e leve a sua profissão com você. Então esse livro também vai estar à disposição, à venda, na loja da Amazon e também na loja da Camp Store. Você vai ver aí as informações depois para você também poder acessar e comprar e poder entender mais esses conceitos, esses princípios desse livro que tem sido, acabou de ser lançado e tem sido aí uma referência super importante sobre esse assunto, sobre aquilo que nós estamos conversando e que nós vamos dar continuidade agora, daqui a pouco, tomando um cafezinho, que foi para isso que eu chamei eles, para a gente tomar um café e conversar. Então a gente vai fazer isso. We are going to have a little break and we are going to take our coffee and then we keep going talking on the table there. Is it okay?
Yep.
Good.
Let's do it.
Thank you.